For the last few weeks, it's been a good time to be a Tugs fan. The Unlucky Tug released an amazing analysis video on the entire series, several behind-the-scenes images that we've never seen before got released, we've gotten to see how original scripts were changed, we even got the release of an unaired US dub of Sunshine. I'd be lying to you guys if I said I'm a boat guy. As you likely could have told, I like trains. I do think boats and maritime vehicles are fun, but they never managed to interest me in that same way. Tugs definitely was a beacon to change that, not only helping me appreciate new sorts of machinery, but even recognize things that Thomas didn't do, and see darker tones and situations presented in a newer way. As a kid, it was so cool, and as an adult, it's growing to be even more so. So today, in celebration of all of this, I thought it'd be fun to switch up gears on the history of series. Today, we won't be looking at a locomotive, rolling stock, not even a Thomas character. Instead, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the history, story, and behind the scenes on one of our favorite Tugs from the Thomas Sister series. This is 10 cents.
That's right, big Tugs only, 10 cents.
Make sure you don't bump into a warrior.
On your way, 10 cents. Show Sunshine how to get the work done and fast.
Yeah, right. Okay then,
Now,
sir.
the rest of you.
Ten Cents was created by David Mitton and Robert D. Cardona. He would first appear in Sunshine, which is the first episode of Tugs. His model originally had a dark timber finish, and he has a loose basis of a San Francisco tugboat that was used during the 1920s. Although Tugs didn't have an official lead character, 10 Cents is technically as close to this as we can get. He appeared in all 13 episodes, in the majority taking a major role, serves as a great device for the audience to relate to the situations in the show, and most of all was the character that had the most merchandise. He also was on the Tugs logo, so I mean to me that screams main character. I don't know about you guys. Getting into his actual model, however, the 10 Cents model was scratch built with a fiberglass and perspex upper deck, along with a brass smokestack. He was designed by Chris Tulloch, and 10 Cents, as well as the other Tugs, used specially constructed chassis clamped to the hulls to move them on the set. The boats themselves didn't actually float, and the show's directors didn't want them to, as they felt it looked very unrealistic, and made the boats appear toy-like. An external tube was stuck inside of his hull and connected to a fog generator. This is how his stack would produce smoke, and the model itself is roughly 20 inches long. The eye mechanisms that the Tugs had were a lot like the ones seen in Thomas. They ran with two servos, one for up and down movement and one for left and right movement. But the Tugs themselves feature a special inclusion, that being heads that can actually rotate and move, which are powered by a motor inside of their hull. The entire process was remote controlled, often being done by David Mitton and Chris Tulloch themselves.
And there's servos inside which operate the eyes and the face. And some of the Tugs have got other additions like paddle wheels which turn and stern waves and things like that, so that it's all controlled by here. 23 different facial expressions were sculpted for 10 Cents, and I believe all 23 were actually used. The faces were made the exact same way they were made from Thomas. They were first sculpted in clay, and from that resin casts were made using a silicone mold. The faces themselves were made by Paul Knight. After the production of Tugs ended, the model of 10 Cents remained under the ownership of Robert D. Cardona. In 1990, the model, along with a dummy, were displayed by David Mitton on Tugs Day. After the event, the model of 10 Cents remained in storage for about 20 years. In 2010, every asset of Tugs in Robert D. Cardona's storage room was illegally thrown away, this being done by the Shepperton Studios staff to make room. Before the fate of being destroyed and lost forever, a passing builder found the assets in the skip. The builder salvaged what could fit into the van, and 10 Cents' model, along with the other items grabbed, were saved. After the rescue, the builder saw an advertising of someone who kept, looked after, and restored model boats, and then sold the Tugs models to him. He would do his best to fix up the models, and owned them until 2012, when he put everything he found up on eBay. 10 Cents, along with 17 other models, were sold to Tugs the Exhibition. In 2021, the model's hull was repainted, and several new parts were added on. Most of these were replica parts, since a lot of parts had been missing since he was accidentally thrown away. That or mishandling by the trust. Really, it's your choice. The original model of 10 Cents was also given a new face, since the original face mask had deteriorated to the point it's covered in chips, which were presumably caused by the trust organization making casts of the original face. Unfortunately, such has caused quite a bit of damage to his original. All of the shady and weird things the exhibition has done aside, it is good to see them at least try to fix the 10 Cents model. And a lot like the Unlucky Tug said in his video, I don't want to dislike the Tugs Foundation, and really do believe they can improve from the actions they took previously. Unfortunately, only time will tell, however, but this definitely is a step in the right direction. Tencents also technically had a close-up model built, but not like the normal ones that we're used to. Tencents instead had a close-up model built of his whistle, though it was never actually used on screen. The same close-up model was also to be used for the Z-Stacks Tugs, to represent their whistles. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the history of Tencents, or at least everything that we know. Like I said, the last few weeks have been a great time to be a Tugs fan. There's been so much new information released and thrown around everywhere, it's honestly kind of hard to keep track of. But nonetheless, it's also fascinating, and a lot like some of you guys has really captured my interests. So really making this was a blast, and if you guys would like to see more on the Tugs characters, be sure to comment down below, as I would love to talk about the others as well, should you guys be interested, that is. While there may not be a lot to it, hopefully you guys still enjoyed figuring out the history of Tencents and his model, and as always guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, we'll watch you in future.
I was looking for 10 cents, sir.
Yeah, well, you just found him.
Ah, I'm Sunshine, sir.
That's good to meet you. Come on, let's get to work.
Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.